What up, dudes? My name's Olivia. This is my 2007 Harley Dyna lowrider. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to change all three engine oils. All three oils. We're getting it done. Let's get to it. First, let's go over all of the things you will need. Number one is going to be an oil drain pan to catch all of your old oil. Number two is going to be an engine lubricant of your choice. What you run in your bike is up to you. You're an adult. I think you can figure it out. Also going to need an oil filter if this is a time for you to change out the oil filter. An oil filter wrench tool. Now this is optional. I just picked this up from Harley because I didn't have it and I was at Harley and what do you know, they had the tool. You're going to need a quart of primary case oil and then also a quart of transmission oil. Before some of you go ahead and comment asking why I run these particular oils, I like the red line. I've read a lot of good things about it in the transmission and the primary. And then Syn 3, you could find it any Harley dealership. So when I'm traveling, it makes it really easy to stop, pick up a couple quarts, do a quick oil change on the side of the road, and I'm good to go. I don't have to go searching for this oil. I don't have to go ordering it. It's nothing fancy, nothing special, and it works. These are all the tools you will need for this job. First, we have a 5/8 socket, or you can use a wrench. I also have a ratchet. It's going to help you bust that nut. A 3/8 hex or Allen key. I prefer a socket, so it makes it even easier to bust that nut. And then a T27 Torx bit, which is going to be used to take off the piece on the primary so that we can add the primary oil. Optional, of course, is your bitch mittens. We're going to start with what people are probably going to be changing out most often and was probably most confusing to find the drain hole. So on the left side of your bike, this is your primary case, and we're going to be taking this off later. But if we take a look underneath here, you're going to see two drain bolts. One being this one that's on the actual case itself, and then there's the one that's all the way back here, and that's on the bottom of your actual engine. So it's this little bad boy right back here. It's going to be right at the bottom of your engine, on, like I said, on the left side, right behind this frame piece here. It's really easy to get to. Grab your 5/8, and it should be pretty simple to break loose. Crack that bad boy loose. There we go. I just used the ratchet long enough to loosen it so that I can do it by hand the rest of the way, so it's really easy to grab my oil pan, pull it underneath, and then pull this thing out and catch it. Whenever you're draining holes, it's a good idea to keep rags around. That oil don't look too bad. Alright, so hopefully you can see the O-ring on this drain plug. Maybe you can see it's kind of ripped up already. And that's just from it being tightened down. You really don't need to tighten these things down too much because they will shred. Honestly, I haven't pulled apart a Harley drain plug where the O-ring wasn't already shredded. These O-rings are so darn cheap while you're at the dealership. Honestly, it's just worth picking up a dozen of them if you're gonna be planning to do your oil changes. When you go to put these drain bolts back in, you do not have to crank them down. It's not a crush washer, it's an O-ring. So as long as that O-ring is snug up on the seal, you're not gonna be leaking anything. And I know that's ironic to say for a Harley Davidson. So that's draining. I'm gonna grab a new O-ring for this, and then it's gonna be time to drain the primary oil. We still got our engine oil draining. I'm just gonna go ahead and take off this nut for the primary oil and get that going as well. So same with this nut, it's also 5/8, so we're just gonna bust that nut real quick and say 1, 2, 3, yeah! Yeah, boy. And there you go. Oh man, yeah, nice and gray. That is tasty. Obviously no metal is ideal on your drain plugs. They got the little magnetic tip, but you know, it happens. So as long as I'm not seeing any big chunks and shards, I'm not gonna worry too much. It's nothing I've never seen before. While waiting for those to drain, we're gonna go ahead and pull this cover off. It's 5 bolts. This is where your T27 Torx bit is going to come into play, and definitely make sure you get that right size because sometimes these suckers are real hard to get off. Okay, yep, I must use a different tool. So this time I've got my 1/4 inch T27 socket here. See if we can't, there we go, much easier. Love that snap. I like to hold on to the cover while I take that last bolt out. All there is gonna be behind here is a little bit of oil and an O-ring. And the orange there is the O-ring, and these are typically gonna be reusable until they're not anymore. If it's leaking, then replace it. Easy as that. Just gonna kind of wipe this up here. Taking a glance at our drain holes, our oil's at a slow drip, so it's safe to throw the plugs back in there and then get ready to take off the oil filter. Now it's time for what is the messiest part of this job and the part that I despise the most, and that's getting this oil filter off, because Harley has put it in between the frame and the front cylinder, and with all of your electronic goodies, your rectifier in the way, when you pull this, all of the oil just splatters down onto your engine, and that is why we put our plugs back in, because we're going to be taking our oil drain plan, and we're going to snuggle right under there to catch all of that oil. The only thing I found that sort of works for this is to use some aluminum foil and try and shove it underneath the best you can, that filter, so that it kind of, you can shape it and funnel it out. I've never really been super successful with it, and maybe I'm just not diligent enough, but it always finds a way to get around the foil and onto the engine. I'm gonna give the foil method another shot today, just in an effort to try and keep some of my engine free of oil instead of just letting it splatter. Filter wrench, extension. Oh yeah, baby. Easy as pie. Well, normally I'd be cleaning up a bunch of oil, so I just took a clean rag, wiped up the edges there, so that everything is free of dirt and grime, at least when it comes to where the oil filter is gonna go. Now, the age-old question, to fill or not to fill the oil filter with oil, pre-oiling the filter. I've seen a lot of people do this. I don't know if it says it in a manual, but most of the mechanics I've spoken to don't add oil to the filters before installing them. I've done it both ways, or you just pop a dry filter in there, don't pour any oil into beforehand, and I have not noticed any difference. Now, maybe there is a difference. Maybe somebody can educate down in the comments and tell me why you should, but I would also love to know the source. So if you're gonna argue with me and tell me that you should fill it with oil, just mark some sources that are reputable. Maybe you can change our minds. Also, this has a freaking dent in it. What the heck, Harley? You sold me a dented filter. Is it gonna affect the performance? Probably not, I don't care. Oh God, is this a good angle? Can you guys see me? Is this a good angle? When it comes to tightening filters, it's just a little bit past hand tight. That's it. All of my strength in my arms is good enough. Bad boy ain't coming off. Naturally, I save the worst for last, and why this transmission fluid is the worst is because I run the Redline transmission fluid, which smells like a dumpster vomited. I don't know why the smell of this fluid is so bad, but just a heads up in case you have this in your bike or plan to put some in the next time around you go to change it. It smells real bad. Just don't say I didn't warn you. My goal is to get this stuff drained and out of my hair as quick as possible. I've got a completely different drain pan for it. I'm trying to dump and run. Going back down underneath the bike here. Now we're on the right side. So directly underneath from your transmission cover, we're gonna go underneath the bike, past this piece of the frame, bada boom, bada bing, baby. It's right underneath the engine here. That is your transmission fluid drain plug. Same as always. Get your 5/8. I'm gonna crack it loose. Crack it loose. God dang, I'm so weak today. There we go. Oh God, I can already smell it. I can't forget the smell. Oh God, I'm having flashbacks. Oh God. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Not too bad. Not too many chunks. The funk of this stuff is real. So, again, once this drip has slowed down to almost nothing, wipe your holes off and plug her back up. That's all of the holes drained. And now we're gonna look at 3 other holes and fill those up. So we're still on the right side of the bike. Here's gonna be the oil drain. And for right now, we're gonna focus on this guy back here That bolt is the 3/8 Allen key. We're gonna grab our socket, an extension, and ratchet. Reach back there. And that's for your transmission. Has a dipstick on there. It's got some lines so you know exactly where you're at, and this is checked on the side stand, I believe. This one also has an O-ring on it that mine was starting to shred on the inner corners there, so I think it was about $1 from Harley. I went ahead and bought a new one, so we're gonna pop that on there. And gonna need a long funnel to reach back here and pour that transmission fluid in. We need to add just a hair, so it really pretty much takes the whole thing. And since we're already here, it only makes sense to go ahead and do the engine oil. You're gonna unscrew this cap here, pull it out. As you can see, just a screw-on cap, and then we've got our long stick here. Check on Jiffy stand, full, hot. We're gonna get it up to that line when it's hot. General rule of thumb when adding oil to your engine is how much oil does it take? Well, you can follow your manual, or you can look at how much oil you drained out of the bike. Put in what you took out, and don't put in more than you took out. I probably drained out about 2 quarts, 2.5 quarts. I'm not really sure what the spec is on this. I already had a couple of extra quarts lying around, and because I have the oil filter changed as well, I might need a little bit of extra oil, so that's one full one. Number 2. Oh, whoa, easy there, partner. Don't go spilling the oil, eh? This is also a great moment to double check that you put your drain plugs back in. Well, that's 2. Let's go ahead and see where she's at. Alright, so we're right on the money there. That's perfect. I'm gonna leave it right at that. We'll get the engine nice and hot and then double check that and probably add a little bit to it. But for now, that's good. Alright, so now this cover, pulling off this cover comes into play. Having a really nice, long, narrow funnel really helps get into this little divot right here. So you can pop in your primary oil. That kind of sticks in there like that. We're gonna struggle again. Oh no, look at that. Unless I stand this up, there's no way I'm gonna get more in there. So I feel like it definitely takes the whole thing, but maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe it doesn't take that much. Yeah, that's it. That's topped off, baby. I'm gonna call that good because, you know what? It's good enough for me. Oh man, it's like filled with oil. Maybe it was overfilled before. Oh god, don't cross thread these. Nightmare situation. Come on, baby, what's the matter? Get in there. Snug as a bug in a rug. Good to go. That's the job done. Holes have been drained, plugged, and filled back up. Now it's time to start it up and then double check that oil level. After taking the bike for a quick spin around the neighborhood, let it get nice and hot. I waited about 5-10 minutes for the bike to cool down. Now we can check the oil again. It's only about halfway up on that dipstick, so that means we gotta add a little bit more. There we go. Right up to that full line. We know it's hot. Good to go. Hopefully this video helped you out, showing you just how easy it is to get all 3 fluids done yourself. I greatly appreciate you guys watching, and if you want to support this channel for absolutely free, all you have to do is hit that like button, subscribe, and then leave a comment. Make sure to check out the other videos on my channel. I'm sure you'll find something you will enjoy. I'm going to be making plenty more videos on the Dyna here, so stick around, and I'll see you in the next one.